so Matt Smith here with Steve and Seamus from Kill Ritual. How you guys doing?
We're drinking already.
All week from what I hear.
Yeah,
pretty much. So what's happening here? How's it going?
Well, the drums got done with the recording process last night, and today's been a lot of post-production, like mixing some stuff down, bouncing a lot of files, getting ready for the transfers, and
nice.
And send everything over to Andy LaRock in Sweden, where he's going to be in charge of putting kind of the final spice on everything once the vocals are done.
Okay.
That's looking to happen probably, I'd say, mid to late February right now.
Yeah. So the drums are all done. You're
recording.
Yeah, 11 songs in about 2.5 days. So,
that is impressive. Yeah. But when did you start? When did you get the song? How long have you had these songs?
Some of the first versions got sent to me about, I'd say, anywhere from 5 or 6 months ago. Those were when the first ones started coming in, and then the last ones came a little bit more recently. And in terms of when I really started approaching these, I didn't start until roughly a couple weeks before the sessions, because I learned...
You're lying. You didn't start till I got here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, did he even rehearse these things? He didn't even know these things. So, yeah.
Well, he had to shut down the Rock Candy production for a couple weeks, too.
Well, I mean, to elaborate on what Seamus was saying, he gets the material, but, I mean, I have some pretty conceived ideas about what I want, the drums to do. So we're usually in sync a lot.
Yeah.
But then we kind of have to go through arrangements and stuff about, how I hear them, for where the chorus is at, what I want for the feel of the chorus and everything. Because, like we had discussed before this, that, since I'm writing the lyrics and writing the vocals too, I have a pretty good idea where I want things to be placed already.
Sure.
Rough ideas. So the drums kind of have to match that and emphasize the parts that, we're going to do. So he'll go, we'll just kind of like we approach it, he'll go in there, he'll just take a crack at the tune, and then we'll just start going, okay, section by section, we'll break it down and play it. Now just as he's recording, he's not having to play the drums all the way through. We're taking a section, and I'll punch him in, we do another section, and just kind of like, and we're composing the tune as we're going, actually. It makes his life simpler. It allows him to be a little bit more creative because he doesn't have the pressure of having to play everything perfectly in one take or a couple takes. He just, and we go through like that, it actually works out really good.
Yeah, so the tunes you wrote all the tunes.
Yeah.
Right? And so you do the heavy lifting, you play bass. You pretty much played everything for what
I do keyboards, I do the bass, do the guitars, all the string sections are done on MIDI guitars and all that stuff. So I've just learned to be a little bit, pretty self-efficient about that. I have the ideas in my head already. So
yeah. So is the synth and all that kind of new to the band, or? Yeah.
So the last couple records, I've actually got a little bit deeper in that kind of stuff, just because I just like the soundscape of it and stuff like that. We don't make it where it's like it's overdone and it's such a featured thing that you go, well, they're not really a metal band or not a guitar-based band. It's just there for added, dimension.
Sure. And then another thing that we're kind of talking about off camera was, I like to hear the process. So you guys live in different cities, right? And so I think this is kind of like one of the things that's happened over the last decade or so.
Yeah.
Is a lot of bands are able to work. They live in separate cities. You had to fly up for this.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that kind of look like for you guys?
Well, for on my level personally, I mean, every band is going to be different, and that kind of working environment can either work for a band or against a band, kind of depending on who the members are and whatnot. But I think in our case, it's actually done really, really well, because it's at least in my case, for me personally, when I fly down to California, like to work with our other band, Imagica, it's a working trip for sure, and there's still a lot to get done and whatnot, but. It's a bit of a mini vacation in its own fun way too, because it's like seeing an old friend that you haven't seen for a while, and you get to work together.
I know.
I mean, there are many bands who burn out simply out of too much exposure to each other, and I mean, they're basically living together at some points, and I mean, for some that works, but for some that dynamic doesn't particularly work, and it's not great for the working environment. In our case, I think it's been a benefit, and it's been a lot of fun.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just think it's just a matter of necessity. I mean, I want to play with the best people possible, I want to play with the most talented people I can find. And if that means they got to be living in Florida or they're living in Idaho or whatever, I don't care. It's just we need that commitment to put together music that's really, really good. And if I can't find a local guy to do it, why would I limit myself to that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like, you guys, obviously, we talked about you guys, you have the band you guys put together, your cover band and stuff, and I think that's awesome. I mean, if I could do that at home where I would find a band like that, I would do it. But right in the Bay Area, there's really not a live, vibrant scene like that to do that anymore. Nobody wants to hear.
Are you in the Bay Area?
Yeah, I live in San Jose, California, so your chances of going out to a venue and actually seeing a band play are about zero.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, but you're going to be going to downtown San Jose and you're going to be listening to Latin disco.
Right.
Or something like that, you know what I mean? So that's where I don't get the opportunity to do that. So that's why I guess maybe I become more self-contained and do everything myself because I just kind of a necessity I have to. So.
Yeah, that kind of echoes the sentiments of a friend of mine who lives down there. He loves coming up here because we can go out on a Friday, Saturday night and see 4 or 5 different cover bands.
Yeah.
And there's a few venues like Cruisers. They do a lot of original stuff too.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. We have a pretty vibrant music scene.
And that's cool,
here.
man. I mean, if I was up here, I would be doing exactly what you guys are doing. I would have like you're saying, having your own original bands and stuff like that. But you do the cover stuff, and just have because it keeps you active. Because you play for a reason. You play because you like it. You know what I mean? You're not playing because you don't like it. So that's cool. So, but I don't have the opportunity to do that. So I have to come up here and hang out with a bunch of knuckleheads up here in Coeur d'Alene.
So just a little tech talk. You guys share the same digital workstation, so you use Pro Tools.
We do now.
Yeah.
So
And you have a uniform way of working together. That probably helps a lot, right?
that helps quite a bit. So I mean, it's made
Yeah.
this easy. I mean, so when we did our last record, we actually went to Sweden and we did the drums over there. And because I said, let's go over there. That was Seamus' first time working with me, and it just worked out we could do that. So we did that. But I said this time around, I said, hey, dude, man, we really need to be doing this thing independently. You need to get a rig to be able to do drums.
Yeah.
That you and I can go back and forth on.
Right.
And because, when it comes down to the brass tacks of this whole thing is that if I'm doing the writing and everything and Seamus going to be playing, we work the closest together as far as getting all the music together. Then when we bring the singer in, he's just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it's the uniformity is important. I mean, it's one of those things where if we were all using different digital audio workstations, it's the difference between, in worst case scenario, we transferring out some session files, or the next few steps up obviously be like, okay, we get the session done, and I can just bounce you out the session files, and you're not spending 90% of the time doing that cumbersome work where it's bounce every single wave file down, and then you have to make sure it plays nice with somebody else's DAW, and it eliminates a lot of the headache. And I mean, in my opinion, Pro Tools has its learning curves, yeah, sure, but it's one of those where it's much less of a headache to learn a new DAW because you're going to have to learn a new one anyway by default. So
do you have uniform plugins?
Yeah, so right now we bought our new Pro Tools systems. I have an old system that I used for years, but I decided to upgrade finally. And then when I decided to upgrade, Seamus said, we'll just get the same, crap. So it'll be very easy. We have the same interface, we have the same everything, same plugins, so there's no hassles.
Yeah. So just to be clear, I had no intention of interviewing you guys, so I really don't know what I'm going to ask. But how did you two meet? I've been curious. So
Tinder.
How did you get? You swiped one way and he swiped one way, and you guys were like,
"Hey, man!" I said, "We're both Irish and we like guacamole." No, so actually, the true story is, besides the other one. Is that
one?
Yeah, the one that's is that my old band, Magica, we came through town and played a show years ago in Spokane at the Pin.
Yeah, it would have been
The Pin. Okay, we played at the Pin, and Seamus came out with this other clown that's hiding behind him, Scott. They came out to the show, And no, they were playing the show.
Yeah,
They played the show.
Yeah, we
played the show.
We opened, yeah.
Yeah, with
Icarus.
No,
Icarus?
Night
It was
of
ritual too.
Night of Tears, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they came out and they did the show with us, and we had like a little backstage area where they gave us food and everything, and after we got done playing, we come back and all our food was gone because these guys ate it all. And that's true. And I remember I was like, F these clowns. They ate all my food. What is going on, man? So years later, we were Kill Ritual. We were looking for a drummer, and Seamus goes, "Hey, remember me? Blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool." And he goes, "Hey, man, I would like to come off in the band." I actually offered him. We did a European tour, and I actually offered him to go on the tour, but he was committed to something else, so he didn't do it. But then when he came back, they got the drummer that we did the tour with. He was on the fence. He didn't. It's not really my thing. Music I want to do. He did the tour with us, but he wasn't really. So then I hit Seamus and said, "Hey, man, you got another opportunity to get this done." Mm-hmm. And then I put him on the spot. We had a show booked in the Bay Area, a pretty good show. Get venue. I said, "Man, you got to come down, learn these tunes, and we'll have one day of rehearsal. And we're playing the show." And that was like his. And I'm like, if he can't do it, that means he's not going to ever be able to do it. And he came down, he knocked it out. It was great. It was actually a great show. It was one of my favorite shows we ever played.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And then, so how many original members are in the band?
One.
That would be me.
Yeah.
That'd be you?
Me. Yeah. Oh,
And-
it was you? I thought it was me.
No.
No.
No. I mean, I after my last band, I started this band, this whole concept of this. So I wanted to do something, a little bit more in line with my leanings to classic rock and more traditional metal type stuff. My old band was very much a thrash band, very much modern sounding, 7-string guitars, that whole kind of stuff. And that was cool. But I felt like I just wore that idea out. So
right.
I wanted to go back to what I really enjoyed.
Go back to basics.
Yeah, because for me, if you ask me, hey man, it's gonna be like Thin Lizzy, UFO, Boston, the Scorpions.
Hey, what I heard, I really liked.
Yeah, you can hear that when I play. So
when will this be ready for?
Okay, so we're finishing this up. We'll have this wrapped up by March. It's going to come out in the fall because we have to boot it off to our label, and our label's in Europe, so they will release it sometime in the fall, and then hopefully the world will collectively, everyone in the world will have their head out of their ass, and we'll be able to go out and play places on a little bit more consistent basis.
Yeah.
So you're looking at touring in 23?
Yeah. Well, probably 23. I mean, but I'm already working on stuff for a tour for when the album comes out. So we can. So
even by the end of the year.
Yeah. So by the end of the year, we're definitely going to be doing some stuff. I mean, I would probably think we're going to probably do the States first. I don't know how long we'll be doing it for the States, because I think Europe's still going to be kind of an issue because traveling in Europe is like every country's got all these different rules, and we've already
look what happened to Djokovic.
Yeah, we've already canceled two European tours have been canceled because
of COVID.
Yeah, we couldn't even tour in support of our last two releases.
Yeah.
The Opaque and the Divine, our 5th album, literally dropped the same month that all of the restrictions were implemented. The whole world shut down, and even I was telling Steve earlier, even up here in Idaho, where we couldn't have cared less if there was a pandemic at all. But
we're Idaho. We eat that stuff for breakfast.
We shut down only because the powers that be told us to, and we were shut down about 3 months, and then when we opened back up, it was you go to the grocery store and you only see people with a mask on for a week or two following, and but it basically put us in a spot where we couldn't tour in support of that. And then when the following one came out, our EP, that became kind of a pain because it's okay, well, do you plan a 2 or 3 week run throughout the states? And logistically, it doesn't make sense when half the states are basically not in line with what it would take to have proper stops. And it just...
It becomes a money issue because, obviously you guys know from playing stuff, you're like, I want to go from this city to this city because I don't want to go from this city all the way to Canada and back to this city and all that crap. It's just there's no point in doing that. It's just a waste of money.
So, does the new album have a name?
It does.
Did you release the name yet?
No.
Do you want to, or do you want to wait?
We'll wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just say that this album is kind of. I'll give you the description stuff. This album is kind of a nod to the artist that we had do the cover. He does a lot of horror movie posters, and he does a lot of like comic book stuff. Actually, he's really well known in the industry. But he's also a movie director. So he heard some of our old music, and he's coming out with a new horror movie that he's put together, kind of like a horror thriller type thing. And he really wanted to use a couple of our tunes. So I worked out a deal with him. Hey man, you can use one of my tunes, but I need you to do a whole album cover. And this guy's he's a badass.
I think he's getting a hell of a deal.
You got a hell of a deal. I got a really cool cover, but it's so it's kind of like. It's a little play on like the classic like old horror movie poster type thing. And the title song is kind of it's kind of like has that kind of lyrical content to it, or it's kind of like that stuff. It's not like satanic crap. It's just like it has that kind of like old school.
How did you come up with the name? Kill
The
Ritual.
Kill Ritual. Okay, well that's it. That was one when we came up. I had a bunch of other guys in the band when we formed the band. And the one guy that played for us was he was a Native American actually, and he was Lakota. I think it was Lakota.
What? Yeah.
From he was actually from South Dakota. So he goes, hey man, there's this this thing you probably heard of it. You go hunting and stuff. They do that first blood, where you just you wipe the blood. They
drink the blood.
They drink the blood. It's a kill ritual in the Indian culture. So I was like, oh, that's cool because I used to hunt a lot when I was a kid. Now I live in California, you can hunt anything besides, I don't know.
Well, when I grew up, the kill ritual was we would cry.
Yeah. You would cry, oh, I killed Bambi. No, so that was, when he told us that concept, I said, oh, that's cool. I mean,
yeah.
I thought maybe the name, kill ritual was a little too aggressive, but I said,
well, everything in context.
Yeah,
when you get into context like that's very interesting. I'm just wondering where you came up with it.
Yeah, I look at it, it's like, well, you have a band like Megadeth. I mean, do they really sound like they're Megadeth? I mean, like if you look by the name, it doesn't. I mean, they're a very commercial heavy metal band.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't think it really matters to people.
But they spell it funny, so
yeah. Well, that's it. I guess we should
takes the edge off.
Yeah.
But no, it's a great name, and
Seamus said, man, did you ever think about his butt ritual? That's what he really was about. I'm like, that kind of sounds appealing, Seamus.
He must have been spanked a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting shades of my past from my old band now.
Well, so you're heading out. When you heading back to?
I'm flying out tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So I'm out of here.
Yeah, I've been trying to get over. I wanted to get over here, but I thought I just want to leave those guys alone and let them. So I called Seamus this morning. Like, can I come over today and see what's?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
You picked
hear some of this stuff.
Pick the perfect day.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah,
that's why I'm over.
Yeah,
yeah. No, the idea originally, and we didn't know how everything was going to go. Like every time we have a recording session, and it's the law of anything like this, like music wise, where it's like, okay, anytime you have something cool in motion or something big, something is always going to go wrong somewhere in the process. And in our case, it usually happens somewhere at the beginning. And this time was no exception. So a couple days before Steve flew in, I literally mapped out, like, okay, so he's going to be here for roughly 4.5 days. Flies in on Monday, like, okay, I'm just going to plan on getting absolutely nothing done on Monday because something's going to go wrong. And then we'll have 4 more days after that to track. And sure as hell, Monday rolls around, we had a little bit of broken equipment, and I had to find some replacements for it. We got started Tuesday, and even at that, it was okay if we get this and this and this done every day of the week, and we end up here Friday, and we have daily goals, awesome. And we wound up exceeding them, so today's just
that's impressive.
Yep, today
we had planned today to be the last day of recording, and it was going to be like, to the end, but it's like, it's a testing, like what Seamus was saying, like, him making sure that he was very, aware what the songs were all about, and us doing all the planning. Just like anything you do with, your job or work, whatever like that. If you, put attention to the detail, it goes a lot smoother than.
Yeah, and it's so astonishing to me because I started recording back in the early '80s in the studios, and boy, if you were a musician, you didn't go near a board.
Right.
Yeah. You didn't touch a mic. You didn't even do your own amplifier.
Right.
It was all engineers that went in and did that. And now here you guys are. I mean, I'll take some pictures of this kit maybe and fly that into the video. But He was his own drum tech. He was his own audio tech, as you are, your own audio engineer, your own technical engineer.
It's the necessity of, like, tell people, I mean, people that don't play music and are not involved in this industry, they don't understand that, that they think that music just falls out of the sky or something.
They think it's a plug-in.
Yeah,
You get Fruity Loops.
No.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
What's going on here is a whole nother level.
And they don't understand because of the way that music is now consumed and everything that the ability to hire people to do all this crap for you is such a minute amount of people that can do that because there's just no money to pay them. So we have to do this out of necessity, which is fine because for me it's all about control, and I can't blame anybody for anything that happens on this. If I don't like something the way it sounds, I can't go, hey, dude, you didn't turn the knob right, or what, like you said,
because it's all you.
It's all me. So if it sucks, it sucks. Man, that's the way
it doesn't suck from what I heard.
Yeah, no. So I mean, I think that what we do is okay, it's good. But everybody has an opinion, about how things should sound. But I think that's what makes music great, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's an individual. That's what it's all about.
Right on. Well, I'm excited to hear it. I can't wait for it to come out, and I wait to hear the final mixes and.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to hear a little bit of the tracks and stuff. I mean, and to me, I'm like, wow, it's a really good beginning.
Yeah, but and you know very well that once the stuff goes through mastering, it's a whole other ballgame.
Once it hits, my friend Andy's studio. I mean, he's got a fantastic studio, and he's got so much geared out. He has all the little magic tools that I don't have,
and he probably knows how to use them.
And he's way smarter about this stuff than I am.
Sure.
So he's gonna do all his little magic tricks on it. And it's gonna sound fantastic. So.
And that's kind of the beauty of it. Even though we are still in a situation where we're doing everything, we still don't have everything it takes to get it done.
Yeah.
We still have to bring in those guys. We still have to go into a big studio at some point.
Well, like you mentioned, I think it's kind of important to kind of, once you get to a point, to hand it off to somebody to put their ear on it because they're hearing it as a listener. You're hearing it as a musician. Your stuff, your stuff you're right. And you're always going to be nitpicking, and you're going to have
confirmation bias too.
Yeah, exactly. You're never going to be able to just let certain crap go. So when you have somebody from the outside, approach it and see it from a different level, it really does help.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, thanks for your time.
Oh yeah, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks for having me over.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
Well, Scott! That's awesome. Seeing you guys today. That's cool.
I didn't even plan on to interview him. I was just standing here talking to him like, I've been doing interviews for my real estate channel. My YouTube real estate channel.
Wow.
Random community interviews just to kind of let people know, hey, there's a realtor.
Nice.
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Now they know their realtor supports kill ritual.
Yeah.
They're gonna be wow.
We'll buy a house from them.
Where do they live? In the Spanky Mansion?
Rudy Sarzo will be calling me. Well, thanks, man.
Oh no problem. Yeah.
I wish I was better prepared. I might have asked a better question.
No, it's fine, man.